Chris, what is our second main topic today?
Our second topic comes from the Antagonistic Anonymous. Hey, crew. While speaking with Esquire, actor Anson Mount revealed how Illuminati scenes were filmed compared to the rest of Doctor Strange 2. He explained that whilst himself, Patrick, and Chiwetel were filming scenes on their own, Krasinski's scene was the last addition as his contract wasn't even done. Is this even further evidence for Krasinski's future with the MCU? Thanks for bringing on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that, Ann. Both my inbox and my news feed was flooded with Krasinski has signed a multi-film deal with Marvel. And it's like, really? And you'll go and you start to track, you start to vet the sources, and you start to go back to where is this coming from? And it all comes from this one interview where Anson Mount basically mentioned, I'm just summing it up, saying like that scene of the Illuminati and Doctor Strange, almost none of those guys were actually there together. Like a couple of them were, but like Patrick Stewart wasn't there when those scenes were shot. John Krasinski wasn't there when their scenes were shot. Like even though they're all up there together, they never actually shot it together. This is all post-production magic, putting them all in there. And one of the throwaway lines from Anson Mount was, Krasinski hadn't even signed the contract yet. They didn't have a deal yet for him to appear in the movie. So what people have done is what we as fans do. We have taken that one little bit of information and made it into something it was never intended to be, which is this confirms that they were in the middle of deep negotiations for a long-term contract for him to be Reed Richards. And as much as I am looking forward, and I still believe there is a chance that John Krasinski is our Reed Richards. I do believe that's very feasible, but this ain't it. Actually, it was pointed out really well by the folks over at Forbes. This is what they had to say about this situation. The only thing Mount means here is that everyone who showed up for this role is going to have some sort of contract in place. And Krasinski's wasn't done yet. A contract does not mean a multi-year, multi-film contract and could easily just be for this specific scene. Kevin Feige has come out and said he specifically got Krasinski for the cameo to fulfill a fan casting dreams, implying that may have been all it was. This quote absolutely does not confirm that Krasinski is on board for more. Not at all. And I think they summed that up very well. I think that makes a very good case. Now, look, you can forgive somebody for reading Anson Mount's comment quickly and going, well, what was the holdup with his contract? What was so complicated about Krasinski's contract that wasn't complicated about it? I get it. Sure. But to make that leap from Anson Mount making some quick comment to confirmed John Krasinski as a is a stretch. And again, this is not me saying, I want to emphasize this, that John Krasinski is not going to be our Reed Richards. You guys know, I believe that's still a very valid chance. But this ain't it. Like, this isn't the smoking gun that tells us that that's what's happening here. I mean, Chris, you saw these comments, heard these things. I mean, it is interesting that he was the last one to sign, but what do you take away from this?
Absolutely. I mean, could that mean he is making a negotiation to talk about other films? Absolutely. As could any of these actors, though, right? And I'm sure their teams are really hoping they do more Marvel films, because who doesn't want some of that cheddar, right? But this is what we do as fans, and also, I mean, within the YouTube sphere, right? We're looking for that fried gold nugget that we can cling to and talk about and report on with so much confidence. And all we can do is just say, maybe that's what's happening, or maybe he was just in one film. We can't say anything because we weren't in the room where it happened. At some point, we will find out who our Reed is, and that'll be fine. Whichever actor they pick, I like Krasinski, but whoever they end up going with, I'm fine with either way.
He also pointed out, too, that, you know, Patrick Stewart wasn't in the room with them. He was off shooting Picard. And so they actually had different actors stand in as like, well, we'll see what happens. If we have to use these guys, we'll use them. If we have to do deep fake on their faces, or if we can just edit in whatever. It's actually really fun to read how they pulled this together. Reminds me a lot of watching that Light and Magic documentary, actually. Anyway, Rob, you read this story. What is your takeaway from this?
Well, I think just what Forbes said, and when you listen to what Anson Mount was saying, like, it was thrown together, you know, I mean, not thrown together, but this was like, they didn't plan this way in advance. And when they probably got John Krasinski in, it takes time to get contracts written. Like, they probably were on a shooting schedule. It's like, look, we need to shoot this now. And we have to, on good faith, we have a contract in place. We know the basic deal. We just he hadn't signed it yet. This happens. You know, it's not something that's it's not surprising to me. But it, like you said, John, it doesn't mean that he has a multi-deal contract with Disney to star in multiple Fantastic Four films. I mean, that is a huge leap to make, because I think that would be celebrated. John Krasinski signs multi-9-picture deal with Marvel. I mean, that would be all over the trades.
Agreed. Well, guys, question is for you. What did you think about this? Did you read this? Did your thoughts go off? Do you still think Krasinski could be our Reed Richards? I think there's still a chance. But whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. We want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Peacock's new series, The Resort. In Peacock's must-see new series, there's more than just trouble in paradise. There's a flip phone, a disappearance, and a suspiciously timed hurricane. The Resort, a new Peacock original from the creators of Palm Springs and Mr. Robot, is an unexpected exploration of how love, marriage, and family can be a real trip. When a couple finds an old flip phone in the jungle on an anniversary getaway, they are unknowingly pulled into an unsolved mystery, a bizarre case that went cold 15 years prior when a once-in-a-century storm wiped away all the evidence. This journey through the Mayan Riviera will take you from the edge of your seat to the depths of human experience and back again. Starring William Jackson Harper, Kristen Milioti, Luis Gerardo Mendez, and Nick Offerman, The Resort is streaming now only on Peacock.